So somebody commented on my channel's Lena Hansen saying, I'm very curious as I just came across your channel. What would you say is the difference between a cap and inner dance? And have you tried kundalini bodywork as well? So I haven't tried kundalini bodywork yet, but I've been aware of it for a couple of months now, and I feel very drawn to it. That's like in my cap sessions, when I have these visions, this very, very strong feeling that I need to go there. Like, I need to go and do that workshop of kundalini bodywork. Like, I actually saw a timeline that I need to do a workshop of pranic living, which is where you recondition your body cells to live off prana, and the kundalini bodywork workshop. So yeah, I just waiting for the right moment, I guess. And I do think, or I do believe, that this August in Denmark I will go, because everything's aligning that way. Now, what is the difference between cap and inner dance? The first time that I did inner dance, it was after I had done 30-ish something cap sessions. So my first session in inner dance, I enrolled in a facilitator training, which is innerdancetrust.com or something like that. And while in the training, we were having all kinds of information about how it works, how mirror neurons work, how you just have to open yourself up to the process, how the less expectations or intentions you have, the more possibilities are available to you, about how you need to let go of the idea of a healer and a healee, and more of the facilitator is facilitating the space and supporting you in your own process. I don't know if I said it correctly, but it's something like that. Now, the first time that I lay down for an inner dance session, the first thing I noticed was the music is continuous. So it is like this flow of music that's interwoven through all the tracks. So it's like a continuous flow that's streaming, and it's very immersive, and it keeps you it's like you're sifting through sand, and you're going deeper and deeper and deeper, and you're staying there the whole time. In cap, what you have is you have a song, you have a track, and then it stops, and then a new song begins, and then it stops, and then a new song begins. Some facilitators, like, if I remember correctly, maybe wrong, but they also use transitions. But in most of the sessions, I know that there's a song, another song, another song, another song. Now, also in inner dance, the music is very much crafted. So in our facilitator training, I haven't completed it yet, I've only done 7 out of 12 lessons. They teach us about brain waves and how certain music activates certain brain waves, so that the magnetism in your body goes down and the electricity in your body goes up. And when there's this space for when the ego and consciousness can meet, and they can have a conversation, something can happen, and there's an integration, and there's also an awareness of this process happening. This 12-step transformation process that's happening, it's very deep, very outlined. I haven't gone through all of it yet, so apologies for not able to give it more detailed or concretely yet, but I will make another video about it. So in inner dance, what I noticed was just lying there, and my own energy was activated. It was activated. I was having my own process, and was virtually through a Zoom call. There was a facilitator, and I was like, how does this work? And my energy was just active, and I would have this very immersive experience, and it was very powerful, very profound, very deep. Visions, a lot of movements, because I was at home, I wasn't making a lot of the same kind of sounds, because I didn't want to disturb my neighbors. But what I noticed was that music and the way it it's interwoven. It allows you to like go into this grid-like atmosphere, and you just like you go deeper and deeper into this wholeness. Now, in CAP, I remember one of the first sessions that I noticed was a guy. He said, "This is like drugs without drugs." That was so funny. It stuck with me. And I remember just lying down on the floor, and there was like an activation going on, so my energy was starting to move, and immediately I felt like this warm glow, this warm energy like coming over me. Now, mind you, this is all my subjective interpretation and my mind trying to translate these experiences, but this is very like relative to me and my experiences, right? And this energy, it's like it feels almost like you're plugged into this power source, and you feel like this inflow of energy, and after the session you feel so high, you feel so elated, or you feel so filled with love, or you feel so alive, so open. And the facilitators, they talk about how they use two frequencies that they transmit. So they're like an antenna that tunes into a certain energy field. This is how a facilitator explained it to me. And then they emit the frequency of kundalini, which activates your own kundalini, and also the frequency of non-duality. And that energy goes through your crown chakra, goes into your root chakra, and then those two energy they flow together and they work together. And I do notice this. It's like every session that you go to in CAP, you notice that there's it's like a sandbox, and in that sandbox you get the right amount of experience and intensity that you're ready for. It's like you always get what you need, no less, no more. So it feels very safe and very, it's like, oh, I can progress in this. I can go step by step. And after a certain while, I notice like this intelligence, it's like guiding me. It is intelligent. This non-dual force that you feel. It's just like you feel that your own kundalini is like guided by that intelligence. So it's very, you feel very much supported in your process. I can imagine if somebody's doing kundalini practices at home, they're just doing certain exercises to stimulate the kundalini, and it's a self-will process. It's also what the facilitators talk about, that here you don't have to do anything, just lay down and you have to surrender. And I really loved it. It was so immersive, it was so intense, and for me it felt very much like, looking back at it, like the feeling that I have, it's like this huge in-stream of energy, and it's like a fiery energy, like it burns you up. It there's like an intensity to it that you go to a peak, and it's very charged. It can be very explosive. It can be very volatile. It can be very loving, very mellow, but it's very, very charged with energy. It's full of energy. And that's why I felt like there's a fiery quality to it. Now, with inner dance, and I started facilitating recently, and it was so funny how it happened. Like, you facilitate the space, and then the moment the music starts, your own energy is activated, or rather, I close my eyes and I tune into this energy, or to this frequency, or to this vibration, and like my body is like my energy is being activated, and my body is being used to facilitate, to do what's needed. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have any intention, but my body's moving intuitively. It's like you're in the present moment and you're just going through motions, like doing things with your hands. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know the meaning behind it. You haven't learned it. Certain things I've learned in the facilitator training. But like, yeah, things just happen by themselves. Like, you start to sing, you start to make sounds, you have your own inner dance happening. Sometimes you go into the process of the other one, and there's like a something happening between the two of you, and then you go back. Like, I know with one client that I facilitated with, like at some point she got up, she started looking at me, and we were having just eye contact. And then while having eye contact, our energies were activated, and we were just having like our inner dance, like we were like this much apart, and we were just sitting opposite each other, and there was just movement happening. It was very beautiful to experience. Now, it was very deep, and with inner dance, there's this water quality that I feel, because I didn't feel like I was plugged into this power outlet. I just felt like my own energy is activated, and my own energy is moving and going through certain processes. Because of that, there's like, you stay in it. It's like you stay the whole time in it, in this wholeness, in this depth, and you never get out of it. With CAP, I did have it sometimes, like when a song changes, or when a certain peak or movement of energy has reached its culmination. All of a sudden, there's like a release, and just nothing is happening. But I noticed the temperament change, the atmosphere change from one song to the other. It's like the song brings a certain kind of quality to whatever's happening in the process. Yeah. But they're both very effective. Like, both of them are very effective, and in a way, like, I don't know if I should say this, but I do know from my teacher Serena, that Vanant Wang, the creator of CAP, Kundalini activation process, he actually studied with Pai, the founder of Inner Dance. So he must have learned that as well. As my teacher told us about it. Like, he learned all this stuff about the music, about, like, he spent a while there, so he must have known all of it. And yeah, now he's got a very great marketing with CAP, and the way he does it. And there's the focus on the Kundalini energy, but it's effective. They're both very like graceful practices, which are very supportive, which are very beautiful, which are very related in a way. Like, what I do know from experience and from hearing somebody in my training talk about it, is that somebody was doing inner dance every day. Every day they were doing inner dance, because inner dance, you can just put in the music and you lie down and you have your own process happening. With CAP, when I was doing CAP 1 time a week, 2 times a week, 3 times a week, I would notice I would be at these highs. And a facilitator told me, like, you're chasing, you can chase the highs, chase these energies. She was like, I don't think CAP would be an addiction or a bad addiction, but I don't think you can get addicted to it. I don't think it's a bad addiction, but like, yeah, you can, like, at a certain point I noticed I was chasing that, and I wasn't allowing enough space in between for the integration, because after each CAP session, like, you would have this you would be filled with this energy, with this inflow of energy, and there would be a realignment in your system, energetically, emotionally, whatever. A dynamic would be shifted to something in your life. So if you allow time for the integration to occur, that new internal shift would be reflected in the outer world, in your relationships, in your career, in your just experience of life, a new sensitivity, a new interest, a new desire, a new relation to a past desire, or your own past, whatever. All kinds of possibilities, a new revelation, a new awareness of, yeah. And like, I noticed that, like, they told me, like, do 1 session per week, or even 1 session every 2 weeks, or maybe maybe longer, and just feel into it. And in the beginning, after going there, and I would feel so alive, I would feel like FOMO, like I'm missing out a session, I'm missing out a session, I'm missing out a session. And now I just feel and I tune in like, whoa, integration time. This is where my life happens. They say this often in CAP. It doesn't matter what happens in the session, leave it there. It matters what you do with the new energy in your life, right? But for anybody who has done CAP and has had like really deep experiences, like it's almost impossible to not become fond of whatever's happening in your session, because it's so beautiful, it's so deep, it's so filled with emotion and energy. It's yeah, it has a special place and value in my life. It has, and like cannot deny it. And with inner dance, apparently, I asked this to my teacher, like, I noticed somebody was doing it every day because she was going through a process of her own, and she was using it, and she said it was helping her. And I was like, is this allowed? And my teacher was, yes, it is allowed, because in CAP you're getting a transmission, right? You're getting a transmission from another being. In inner dance, you're just opening yourself up to the process. And I don't know if I can say this, maybe I'm wrong, I can be wrong, so don't take this as the truth, because I'm not an expert on CAP or inner dance. I'm just a guy having all these experiencing and sharing it. So so I guess in inner dance, because it's just your own energy, and sure, there are realignments happening, and there are shifts happening, and like there are so many beautiful shifts happening, but it's not as intense. It doesn't feel as charged and intense as in CAP, because in CAP you really feel like, whoa, this energy source, you're connected to it, and whatever you're doing, it's like intensified. In inner dance, your own process is just like very intensely happening inside of you. And with a facilitator, like my friend facilitated me for the first time, and it's so interesting how when he was moving and doing things to me, it was different than CAP. For sure it was different. But yeah, the main difference is like the intensity of energy, I think. Like I'm trying to picture both experiences and seek for the nuances, the differences, and it's like the intensity of energy. One is very, very profound, very, very deep, and a dance is very deep, very profound, but it's like very, very soft, very mellow, very watery like. The other one is like very intense, very, very filled with energy, very fiery, very like, yeah, vibrating, very, very, very shaky, very I guess the main difference between inner dance and CAP is that in inner dance, you use the music to facilitate or to have like my teacher says, an intense spiritual workout, meditation and dance and like a high, all of it together. In CAP, the facilitator emits those two frequencies, and she guides you through that process, and you really feel it. Like whenever you're being touched, whenever a facilitator is near you, there's such a strong interaction between the energy. At certain points during my my CAP sessions, I had moments where I would just like open my eyes and I would feel I was in the flow of the energy, or with my eyes closed, I would feel myself being used by the energy to interact with other bodies, with other people. So there was definitely like a very strong energy that was circulating in the room, undoubtedly. I've never done inner dance in a group setting. I've only done it with two people. I facilitated for two people, And it was just, yeah, it was just happening, working with the grid of one person with the other person. You're just stepping aside and you're allowing it to happen. So yeah, both are amazing. Both have amazing depth, amazing yeah, amazing opportunities if you're open to it. All you have to do is surrender and be willing to go into it. Yeah, what I really love about the inner dance training is that there's so much information about what's actually happening. What's actually happening, like scientifically, like to understand that, to see that science behind it, to see it being deconstructed. It's yeah, it's amazing, because otherwise there's almost the sense like this is just magic. How does magic work? And then in inner dance you see it being deconstructed. So can really recommend that training to everybody. Hope I answered your question in any kind of way, but if I didn't, I will make a new video about this whenever I've gone through the training, and if I've ever done a CAP facilitator training. I really would want to, yeah, to incorporate all that. So thank you for the question, really.